everything you got for me. I won't be satisfied till I find the center of your heart. Lord, you know you open my eyes. You show me things that I can't see on my own. You call me justified, free to find everything you are. And you changed me from what I used to be. Open my eyes, now I can see. You're making this life so beautiful, so beautiful. Lord, I give you everything, anything you want from me. Take my past and my future, I lay it at your feet. Yeah, I'm after your heart, you've stolen mine. I give you my own, 'cause you gave up your life. I'm not who I was, simply because, oh, you set me free. Yeah, you changed me from what I used to be. Open my eyes, now I can see. You're making this life so beautiful.
Okay, we're all here. Please have your seats. Well, we're a little bit late. Anna had this planned out right to the minute, so everything she had on her itinerary was right on time. You're running little glitches no matter what you do. On behalf of Sandy and Ed Hammermeister and Eric and Debbie Gilmeister, and of course, Chris and Anna, I'd like to welcome you to their wedding reception. I'm your wedding MC for tonight, and I was surprised when Anna and Chris asked me to be their MC as they heard me speak before. At first, I was flattered. Then I heard someone say, I'd rather hear him speak than eat. And then someone else said, yes, me too, I've heard him eat. I'm what you call a vacation MC. They were looking for an MC, and I was their last resort. And I am Dave Anderson, and I'm more than happy to be here on this happy occasion. So the secret of getting ahead is getting started. So we're started. Let's start off, and we'll introduce the bridesmaids. I'm going to introduce right next to Anna, a longtime friend since kindergarten. She is just completing her third year in business at the U of A and wants to go on to study law. We're very happy to welcome Michaela Risling. Please stand. Next to her, we have a lifelong friend to the bride. She's very witty and fun to be around. She's a medical instrumentation sterilization technician. Try and say that a few times. She works casual at the hospital and holds down 4 jobs. She's single. Please help me welcome Brittany Wolschlager. Next to her, we have a sister to the groom and works for RBC as a client advisor and fast becoming a great friend to the bride, and she's looking forward to her moving to chill out to BC. Please help me welcome Candace Gilmeister. And on the very end, we have second cousin to the bride. Had to come with her mom, and they were delayed because of the weather, so very happy that she made it. She's turning 5 on January the 4th. Please help me welcome Lydia Fowler. Then we're going to go over to the other side over here, right next to Chris. We have the best man, confident, and he talks the most to, besides Anna. He's a student in product design and is his 3rd year at UBC. Please help me welcome Stephen Digovea. Next to him, we have oldest friend and neighbor of the groom. He works as an aluminum sheet metal fabricator, and he's actually engaged to be married in March, so 2 more months for you. They said they would be at each other's wedding, so please help me welcome Colm DeHaan. Next to Colm, we have Chris's partner in crime, that's what he told me, when it comes to classical culture. He's a registered RN and works in St. Joseph's Hospital in Blaine, Washington. Please help me welcome Brother Joe White. And on the end here, we have second cousin to the bride. He enjoys baseball and hunting with his dad. He's 8 years old. Help me welcome Elliot Fowler. We have a few more people we'd like to introduce here. We have some people that have been around for a long time and watched all of us grow pretty well. Sister Adina Hammermeister, that's Anna's grandmother on her dad's side. There she is over there. And then we have the great-grandparents on the mom's side, Reinhold and Lydia Wild. Please stand. We have, the award goes to this next person who came all the way from New Zealand. This is Chris's Nana, his mom's mom. She traveled all that way to be with us here today. Please help me welcome Jennifer Frandy. Some of the other people I'd like to mention is Stephanie Fowler. Stephanie is Anna's second cousin from Piggott, Arkansas, along with her children, Esther, Heidi, and our ring bearer, Elliot, and flower girl Lydia, who's going to be 5 on Monday, January 4th. We want to thank them for being here today. And also Susanna Holdren. Susanna is also Anna's second cousin. She made the trip from Ohio with her daughter Brianna to be here today, so please welcome them as well. Then from Calgary, we have Anna's aunt and uncle from Calgary, along with their cousins Jasmine and Kai. Dean and Mary Jo McDermott, back in the corner over there. And Anna's aunt on her dad's side, who traveled from Kelowna to be here, Connie Baker. Lost track, there she is. Friends, we have some other friends we need to introduce here. Paige, Sandra, and Troy Shellamy. They were next door neighbors to Anna when she was growing up. Are you guys here? Could you please stand? Oh, there they are, right there. So it's good. We have a couple of teachers here, the Anna's teachers. Amanda Sape. Could you please stand? Right there. And we have Amy Bautista. She's Anna's grade 1's teacher as well, too. We also have some friends that are here from, these are a few of Ed's employees and their spouses, John and Purdy Weeb. Purdy is receptionist at Ed's business there. And Carolyn and Daryl Black, who attend my grandson's hockey games all the time. So. He works with Ed as well. There are many others from BC, especially that traveled to come here today. I want to thank each one of you, so we appreciate you sharing this evening with us. Maybe everybody from out of town, could you please stand? Just see who's here, all here from out of town. Well, thank you very much for being here. We're going to start the meal here right away. We're going to, of course, we have to have Brother Bob McDermott come up here. He's grandfather of the bride. He's going to do a little speech and toast to the bride. And just, Bob, if you'd like to come on up, and then we can get started with the meal service.
She gave me a paper, but she should have given me tissue. Welcome, friends and family. Thanks, Dave. I feel very honored that Anna and Chris asked me to say a few words and ask the blessing on the food. Anna, you are a very beautiful bride, our snow princess. Anna has been like a second daughter to us. She stayed in our home many weekends and brought us much joy. We've always been very involved in her life. She's always updated us on her wedding plans. She even asked me to come to all her wedding dress fittings. What an honor for a grandfather. From the first time we met Chris He found a place in our hearts every time he came to Edmonton. They both took the time to come and visit us. Thank you, Anna and Chris. We wish you both God's richest blessings. And we love you both very, very much. Don't forget us. Come and see us. We thank you for each one that's here today. This is a very special time for me. I love her like my own daughter. And I just want to say how beautiful you look today. I'm glad just to be part of this whole thing. And we just want to take our glasses and toast to a very beautiful person the Lord has given us. To Anna, to Chris. You'd like to all stand and we'll pass the blessing on the food. Heavenly Father, my Lord, my Savior, we thank you, Lord, that you took the time to come by today, Father. Lord, just to look down from the portals of glory, Lord, and to shine upon Anna and Chris this day, Father God, and Lord, for bringing each of these friends and family, Lord, that we can look on this and say, Lord, that we desire, Lord, that you would lead them, guide them, direct them, be in everything they do and say, Lord, that you know what's ahead. Lord, we don't know what holds tomorrow, Father, but we know who holds tomorrow. And we thank you for that, Lord Jesus. We just pray now as we go to partake of this food that you will bless it to our bodies and that you will be present this evening in all that we do. We thank you for it all in the name above every name, the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you, Brother Bob. You may be seated. I don't know if anybody knows this, but Brother Bob brought the bus out and was chauffeuring them around. Bob's always been really good to help out in many, many ways, and his concern extends to that of his friends and the people that he works with and stuff. And he told one of his customers, he said, if you're in this holiday season, if you're going to drink and drive, don't drink and drive, take a cab or a bus. And he said he was really proud he'd never driven a bus before. Got to meet me halfway on this, guys. So we're going to start our meal service here right now. So we're going to start off. The head table will be served, and every one of you have a number on your table. So you're going to see, we're going to start with table 1, 2, and 3, and then you can move up to the buffet, and then I'll start calling you out as we go. So just have fun, just sit back, relax, and we'll get you up there and get you fed as quick as we can.
Change me from what I used to be. Open my eyes, now I can see. You're making this life so beautiful, so beautiful. Every day I rise, I wake up to find you're surrounding me with endless mercy.
Okay, so that was an excellent meal. Everybody hear me? I'd like to ask the staff to come out. Cassandra and Ashley and your staff, can you come on out? Let's give them a warm round of applause. Thank you very much. Now, did anybody not get fed out there? Everybody's good? Good. Okay, we're going to try and get this program going for you. We got about 2 hours of speeches and video, a little bit of everything for you. We're going to start off with the speech by the father of the bride. Brother Ed, do you want to come on up?
Good evening. I want to welcome everyone and say to each and every one, thank you for attending. Thank you for your support, your love, and your prayers. And I trust you all feel welcome and that you have an enjoyable evening here. I want to, first of all, just acknowledge a number of the ministers that are here. We've got a number of them that are here, and I just want to take a moment to acknowledge them. I want to start, first of all, with our pastor, Brother Harold Hildebrandt. And I want to say thank you, Brother Harold. Me or my family would not be what we are today without you. Thank you. We also have our Brother Zig Clar, Stephen Clar. Just raise your hands. They will have a visiting minister at their church from Brazil, Brother Billy Maia. He's way on that end. I want to say thank you, Brother Ken Boyer. Where is he? Raise your hand, come on. Brother Ken, Brother Dwayne Fair, my African traveling friend. Brother Ken and Brother Dwayne will be ministering at our church tomorrow. If you don't have any place to go, feel welcome to come. Also want to mention Brother Tony Abma. Brother Ken is from Calgary, Brother Dwayne is from Saskatoon, Brother Tony is from BC, Lower Mainland. How's that? Brother Tony will be ministering at Jerry Fury's assembly tomorrow. Also want to say thank you. We had a couple of ministers that were following us, streaming in a little bit and giving us a few notes. I had a email from Samuel Taylor. He just wanted to pass greetings on to the couple. I also had a text from Ron Spencer, and he said, praying for you guys, knowing that losing a daughter causes desperation. Gaining a wonderful son-in-law is great. We love you guys. Ron Spencer. John Andes was listening in today. Also want to mention Brother Jim Dooley right here. Brother Jim baptized me in 1984. He baptized me at a camp, and at the same time there was a young man over there named Eric Gilmeister who was baptized at the same time. Many years later. Any rate, we had a wonderful time. I know tonight I'm wearing the hat of the father of the bride. This afternoon I was a minister, but I just want to say something. The minister struggled this afternoon, and he had one more thing to get out. So let me just change hats. And I'll just be the minister for a minute. Chris, you need to listen to this. Don't wait for the video. Listen closely. Whatever you do, always respect your in-laws. And now that I've taken that hat off as father of the bride, I say, Chris, always listen to the ministers. Well, I want to start by welcoming Chris into our family. Chris is a very diligent young man, an accountant. It's no accident that this wedding happened on January 2nd, the second most tax beneficial day of the year. I want to welcome you to the family, Chris. And I want to say how I appreciate your character, I appreciate your testimony, and I appreciate your respect. We first met Chris when there was a few young people came over and gathered together. We noticed he showed up a couple of times when there was a young people gathering of one, Chris. He began interacting, and it wasn't long after that he approached me and he asked if he could enter into a courtship with Anna. He was very respectful. He told me that he had seen her, he'd watched her, and he'd prayed and sought the Lord. And I'll share something that he said very confidentially. He said he didn't want to initiate anything because he didn't want to hurt her. And what you didn't know at that time, Chris, was that was exactly the same way I entered into a relationship with my wife. And it struck a chord with me. And I think we see today his love is evident for Anna and his respect. And I want to just say thank you for the respect that you've shown her, the love you've shown her, and the respect to us. We appreciate that. I want to also say to the Gilmeister family, on behalf of Sandy and I, how much we want to welcome you and how we've appreciated getting to know you. I want to say how much you have made Anna feel at home when she's in BC. We look forward to seeing you more often. And it doesn't have to be a one-way trip to BC. Thank you. How many would agree with that? I know we're on strict timelines. I received a text from my daughter at 5:14 this morning, told me, "Dad, can you please keep the message to 20 minutes? We have a schedule to keep." By my calculations, I was under by 4 minutes and 38 seconds, so I'm going to use some of that up. I want to say about Anna, I remember she being our firstborn, born in December 28th, middle of winter, put her in a car seat. Sandy bundled her up, had this little flap. She turned out, and it was just this little peekaboo window. We could look at her. And throughout that winter, it was just a joy to take her out, pick that up, and look at her. I remember the first few times in the middle of the night, I, being the lighter sleeper, would get up, didn't hear anything, would just walk over to her crib just to see if she was breathing. And it was just such a joy to see that life. That didn't happen with my sons, but usually my wife got an elbow, just check them out, will you? There's many memories I have of Anna, and I couldn't begin to share them all at this moment. But it wasn't long after she was born I realized we had our hands full. It was at some meetings in Tennessee. I'd left my runners out. I came back to put them on, and they were full of orange juice. I enjoyed just coming home and Anna being the firstborn, just to chase her around and roll with her on the carpet and have fun. It was just memorable. I could mention a very memorable I Spy game we had at home, but I won't. If you need to, you can talk to me privately on that. Anna had a very determined character, and it was evident in her life. Once she made up her mind to do something, she stuck with it. She was baptized at an early age, and I had the privilege of baptizing her. And thereafter, she took a stand as a Christian through school, very determined. She excelled in academics, in character. She was always fully committed. I want to say thank you to Amy and both our teachers here today, and say thank you so much for recognizing what you did for her. We couldn't have done it alone, and we appreciate you, and you're here today because of that. Anna gained the respect of her teachers at school. amongst her peers. She achieved honors and academic standing. She did many things in that way, and we just saw a drive in her. Anna could be driven. Once she saw a goal, she went up. She was never one to do yard work or much, but one time when the neighbors needed someone to cut the grass and there was a promise of a monetary reward at the end, Anna, who never had gone out in the yard before, borrowed the lawn tractor, the John Deere, went up and down in the dust, covered from head to toe, but she was determined to see her way through. Anna one time approached me about going hiking. We had just been out in the mountains. I'd gone out early every morning. She'd never gone with me once. But when it became apparent that a hiking trip would qualify as an adventure award for a scholarship, she was determined to do it. So Dad and daughter went on a 3-day hiking trip along the Moline Skyline Trail. I'd say, Anna, that was one of my most memorable experiences with you, and it was much appreciated. I want to mention at this time, what we saw today doesn't just happen, and it takes a lot of love and a lot of guidance, and I want to say a thank you to a very special person today. Without Sandy and her commitment to feed our children, give them warm clothes, be with them in the morning, be with them at lunch hour, be engaged, volunteer at school, showing love, they wouldn't be what they are today. And I just want to say thank you to the most wonderful woman in this room. Sometimes dads have the hard tasks of putting down the rules and saying the hard things. But I just want you to know, Anna, that Mom and I, our love for you is equal. We love you both dearly. Anna, spiritually, after her baptism, we saw her grow. She had scriptures up in her room, pictures posted, promises of God. I saw her listening to sermon tapes. I saw a growth. And then when Chris came into the picture, that growth continued. I saw Chris's desire to serve God. And since the time of their engagement, I've seen them just come closer together, making plans. And I just want to say, may God bless you both. As I said earlier, God gave Anna to us for a short while, but she's now in your hands, Chris. And I just pray that you would take care of her as a daughter of God. You know, there's many other things I could say. I'll keep it short now. Just this last little while, Anna's determination. You could see it sometimes. So she was so focused, she would forget the little things. Quite often she'd be studying, she'd be getting out the door. We'd walk into her room, the bed wasn't even made. Quite often that happened. Chris was over, he stayed over at our place a number of times. And then they had duties, they had tasks. We went down to the room that he was staying in. Guess what? The bed wasn't made. My wife and I looked at each other and we said, they're getting married. Who's going to make their bed? Eric, Debbie, would you mind just stopping over once in a while? Just check and see if their beds are made. We love you both. God bless you.
Thanks, Brother Ed. You can sure see that he's a preacher, right? A father is a person who forks over thousands of dollars for his daughter's wedding only to read in the paper that he gave her away. We're going to call on Brother Eric Gilmeister to come on up and say a few words.
Well, it's going to be hard to upstage that. I'm not a public speaker like Ed, but I'll do my best. I'd just like to acknowledge everybody for coming and very appreciative. We don't really know folks from Edmonton too much. We haven't traveled this way too much, but we've come to enjoy the company here and the city even since Chris met Hannah. Well, the way that happened, I think the name kind of sparked things. They met at a youth camp, and I think they had an attraction just with the Meister thing. I know that Chris mentioned that, so he found that amusing. And then that seemed to grow from that to they had other things in common, like organization and focus. Chris is actually very much like Anna. Usually, the opposites, attract, but I think they're actually quite alike myself personally. And they both have very good redeeming traits. Chris, well, he was an interesting young man. He was born on January the 13th, 1991, in White Rock, cold White Rock, that day, and he showed to be a very, very determined young fella. Some of our first memories with him, his mother thought he was actually a strong-willed child. But she even got the book, James Dobson and all that. But we just found that he knew what he wanted and he pursued it. He's actually one of the few children that when he was young, grade 7, I think, or grade 8, he said, I want to be an accountant. And boom, he's an accountant. So we really admire that trait in Chris. He's very a determined individual. So when he sees something and he pursues it, he's going to get it. So that's why we're here tonight. I'm partially to blame, and so is my wife, but he's the one who was the pursuant one. We got a few stories to tell. I'm going to tell a couple. I remember when he was just a young child, probably 3 or 4 years old, and we went out and bought him this beautiful fluorescent green bike. And his brother is a couple years older, so he already had a few dents and scratches on his bike. So the first day we saw he's out there riding, and then shortly thereafter he's out there with my hammer and he's banging on the bike, hitting it, and putting some battle scars on it because he didn't want to be upstaged by his brother's cool worked-in bike. So he's always been very competitive. So you don't want to play board games with Chris. I'll just tell you that right now. I gave up a long time ago. It's either going to be Chris is going to win or his mom. So He's definitely got a competition streak in him, but he was actually very quite easy to raise. He was just a very focused, quiet, and like I said, determined boy, and he never really gave us a lot of trouble. We raised him in the admonition of the Lord and in the message, but I'd say with Chris we just neck reined him. It wasn't like. We didn't have to yank on the reins too hard. He just sort of just fell in. So we're really proud of him tonight, my wife and I. And it's a real pleasure to have Anna too. I noticed some very nice traits and redeeming traits in Anna too. She's a wonderful Christian girl, and we'd like to welcome her to our family too, Anna. We love and appreciate you too. You're a fine Christian young lady. So yeah, it's what else can I say? I got to roast him a little bit here. It's my chance. Like I said, he wasn't a bad kid, and he didn't really give us a hard time. But what we did with Chris, we re-raised him, and this is the way in point of the minute. And he maybe a little tiny bit in his senior year, he just sort of had to experience a few things. So we actually even drove him to the grad party, and you know what they do at grad parties, right? But Chris knew, and we knew that we just had confidence in him that. It wasn't long, and he wasn't very long in any kind of experimenting with the world. It was very, very, very short. And so Chris actually, he shortly after his grad, he had expressed interest in the things of the Lord. And so our background is we'd attended Cloverdale Bible Way for many years, but we'd actually left probably many years before. And so we were just fellowshipping on our own. So he wanted to find a church, and he tried some of the churches there. It wasn't his flavor, so the Lord had it that a church was available Living Word in Aldergrove. So I brought him there, and it's, you know, and he kind of took off like a duck to a water. He just joined up. I shouldn't say joined, but he just got into the fellowship. He got baptized right thereafter, and his nephew, his sister, and then his other sister, Candace, and Ben had been baptized earlier, and they all started attending the fellowship there. So it was very good. You know, that we had just kind of been loners with, you know, and so he started the family back in Christian fellowship. So I think it was a very, very good thing, Chris. And his nephew, his cousin came right out of the world, and he had an amazing transformation. Actually, he was a drug dealer and everything, and he followed Chris's advice, and he's had a good influence on our family, Christopher. So we want to congratulate you. We're proud of you, Chris, and you make a good couple. So that's about all I got to say. So we'll let the mother say the rest. Thank you.
Hi, I'm very nervous. I'm not used to this either, but coming from my perspective is a little bit different than Eric's, so forgive me. So another one of my sons is getting married. For a long time it seemed so far away, and it's really happening now. Anna, you look beautiful, and Chris, not so bad yourself. Also want to thank you all for embracing Christopher and making him feel welcome here in Edmonton, even though we knew that he was going to be bringing Anna to us. So Chris, in our day, we didn't find out what the sex of the baby was going to be, so when I delivered you, we found out you were a boy, welcomed you into our family, and told Ben he had a little brother to look after, and the start of a wonderful friendship was created between you and him. He has continued this to this day. They have a great friendship. You were pretty independent right from the get-go. Weaned yourself and took a bottle at 7 months, skipped the crawling part of growing up, and started pulling yourself up to walk at 9 months old, and always looked for ways to keep up with your brother. Before you were a year old, we took a family vacation to Disneyland. On our way there, we made a stop at a family, and there they suggested I leave you with them because dragging a baby around Disneyland wouldn't be good, and we couldn't go on all the rides. So after much convincing, and I mean a lot of convincing, I agreed. Of course, I didn't really want to leave you. You were still so young. After we got back, we stopped to pick you up. I gathered you by arms, and you immediately put your head down on my shoulder, turned your head, and never looked at me the rest of the day. You were pretty mad at me, ignored me, and I felt like a really irresponsible and bad mother. I think I've been trying to make it up to you all this time. As a child, you didn't speak very much, but you did jabber away at times. Of course, you made no sense, but your brother always knew what you were saying. So the times you were wanting something and we didn't understand, we would call Ben over and he would interpret to us what you wanted. Another reason we were glad you had a big brother. Ben often spoke on behalf of you, and you would just let him. I hope now that you speak for yourself. As a young child, now this is my perspective, you were a very strong-willed child. You had me as such a frustrated, pulling my hair out crazy time that I was searching all possible areas of how to work with you. Thank goodness I discovered Dr. Dobson and his book called The Strong-Willed Child. And he gave me some very helpful ideas and options to try on you. Something must have worked because you're still here today and in one piece. Many prayers went up for you at that time. We were very kind and gave you a long first name, Christopher. Your brother Ben, once again, had a hard time saying this, so he came up with his own version of your name. And he would go around the house calling for dit-dit-dur, dit-dit-dur. Sometimes it was ditters. Cute, huh? Anna, just the other day, Chris was holding Marcus and trying to get him to say Uncle Chris. You could see Marcus trying to decipher how to say this, so I injected maybe he should be introducing yourself to, this is Uncle dit-dit-dur. Maybe it would be easier for him to pronounce. Chris was very much into games at an early age. I remember when the boys were into their Pokemon cards, and being the wonderful mother I was, I got talked into going down to the local 7-Eleven store, standing up for 2 hours in a line just to purchase cards for them so they could go trade with their friends. What would we do with our kids, even when they were young? I'm not sure who gets the credit for Chris's choice of profession, but he did love money and numbers. I introduced him to the game of Monopoly, something that was easy to do because we grew up before all this technology that all the people have today, playing board games. I showed him all my moves and the way I used to play the game against my brothers and sister, mom and dad, and until he could win, and then he would take over. Then it wasn't so much fun anymore. But he does love playing board games, so Anna, be prepared for all-nighters with his buddies. Chris has always been very good at time management. This he had when he was still young and going to elementary school. The kids wanted to play computer games before they went to school, but my rule for them was that they had to do a chore, be dressed for school, lunches packed, ready to go on the bus. Christopher was the only one that was able to do this. He would choose emptying the dishwasher as his chore, be packed, ready to go, and still have time to play his games in the morning before the bus came to pick him up. So he is very competitive, very determined, and once he, like you said, makes up his mind and he wants something, he will make sacrifices to do it. As you know already, I'm thankful that my mum was able to come all the way from New Zealand to come to Canada and then to Edmonton to the wedding. Chris and her do have a special connection. Chris was born on January 13th, and my mum was born on January 14th. Because New Zealand is a day ahead, once a year, they get to spend a few hours together celebrating their birthdays. Something special for her. Anna, welcome to the family, and I look forward to all the times that we can get to know you better. You have already made a lasting impression on me. The first time she came and visited, her and Chris talked and talked, then they read their Bibles together, prayed together, seeking God's will for their lives. What an approach towards each other before God. I came home the day that she left to a beautiful bunch of flowers and a nice thank you card at my front door. She touched my heart then. On another occasion, she left, and we discovered a card and a little gift under our pillows, not only for myself, but for Candace and Shalom. If she was wanting brownie points, they were sure working. She was very thoughtful, and thank you. Chris, I will miss those times that we would spend talking and sharing our hearts, and just through the tears and the laughter of experiences now that you're moving on and being married and moved out. I hope we can still do that. I would like to end my speech with a little gift for Christopher, a little token of something that became a standing joke within our family. You see, every time he seemed to go visit Anna, I would go buy him a new pair of PJs so that he would be respectable at the Hammermeister's home. So I purposely didn't give you this pair so I could hand it to you today. Thank you.
I would like to begin with a scripture verse, Psalms 139, 13 and 14. You can start it. Thou hast possessed my reins, thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. Today I marvel in seeing God's plan in action. He took me, a simple young lady, and brought me together with Ed, and allowed Anna to be born. God knew we needed her to enrich our family. It didn't take long for us to see our lives would be forever changed. For the better, of course. 2 words that I would use to describe Anna would be unique and beautiful. Anna always seemed to dance to her own rhythm, so to speak. Right from the beginning, once she made up her mind, it was difficult to change it. From a small child, she loved to have sleepovers at Manpa's compartment, as she called it, for at the time they were living in an apartment, and only Grandma could feed her. Heaven help us if we tried to convince her otherwise. After the first day of grade 1, when asked how it went, she replied with a big sigh, "There is so much paperwork." Little did she know it was the beginning of much more to come. Anna proved her uniqueness all through school, taking a stand for Christian principles upheld by our family. But through it all, her classmates and teachers came to love and respect her. This was something she embraced wholeheartedly, and it was a conviction and a way of life for her. Anna, I am extremely proud of you and thankful to God for his love and protection over you. Throughout your school years, I had the joy of interacting with classmates, teachers, volunteering on every field trip, bringing countless snacks, driving many miles to and from school, spending lunch hours together, and I loved every minute of being a part of your life growing up. I will always cherish our mother-daughter trip to Louisiana Spring Camp. We had quite the adventure, one that we both won't ever forget. Our many family spring vacations were always something to look forward to each year as well. Over these past few months, I took a trip down memory lane going through many pictures. I have to admit, in the early days, my sense of fashion wasn't always perfect and actually made me laugh when it came to dressing Anna. But as Anna reached her teen years, she developed her own fashion sense and grew to become a beautiful princess. While searching for pictures of Anna and I over the last 3 years, I realized there were more of her and Chris. I am happy to have Chris as my third son and also cherish the time we all got to spend together each time Chris came to visit Anna. Last December, Chris came along on our family vacation to Palm Springs. He fits in so well, and when I see how happy he is when they are together, my heart is also happy. Anna, today you are a stunning bride. With time, natural beauty fades. I would admonish you to nurture the godly beauty that never fades and made you unique all through your life. It also attracted Chris to you in the first place. I know you will be a blessing to those around you in BC. Don't ever stop being unique. My prayer for you as a couple would be that God would prosper your lives together. Through the ups and downs of life, may you always be still and know that He is God. And also know with a humble and thankful confidence that He started the good work in you, and He will also complete it.
Thanks, Sister Sandy and Sister Debbie. That was heartfelt and very warm. But number one tip for newlyweds, your mother-in-law is always right. Just keep that in mind. So next we're going to have Ethan and Caleb come up, and they're going to say a few words about their sister as well.
Anna is a great sister, or should I say the best sister someone like me could ever have. When I was born, Anna was already 6 years old, and she became an influence to me as I was growing up. She helped me through many things, feeding me, training me, even saying goodnight with hugs and cuddles. It was great. Anna was the mature older sister, and I was the cute younger brother. As I grew, she was always there when I needed help with any homework assignment. If I wasn't doing good, she would bribe me by promising ice cream if I achieved a higher grade. We also enjoyed playing computer games, card games, or board games. Even though I beat her many times, she wasn't a sore loser. When we did spend time together, she always enjoyed being with me. We loved our family vacations together, traveling, hiking, and swimming. It was all good. The only thing I did not like doing with Anna was shopping. She seemed to enjoy it. She used to spend 3 hours in every store, but I hated it. With anything she did, she put 110% into it. Whether it be work, school, or volunteering, she worked hard and gave it her all. In the last few years, Anna has been busy with school, and we have not had much time together. When we did have time together, she made me come into her room and listen to her study as she read her notes out loud. That was probably the most boring thing I did with Anna. There were other distractions too, like Chris. She was always Skyping with him, planning with him, talking with him. Sometimes it went till late at night. From the first time I met him, we had a lot of fun together. We played ping pong downstairs, and I went for a ping pong and went through the wall. It has been great getting to know him. Anna, now that you are leaving, things will not be the same. I will miss you. What I will not miss, though, is the excessive girl hair in the bathtub, the millions of soaps and hairsprays in the cabinets, and having to listen to you talking to Chris late at night. Even though I'll get her room after I'm gone, I'll still miss her. I'm not worried about you because I think you'll do all right with Chris in BC. I am happy for you both, and I hope you have a wonderful life in BC with Chris. Thank you.
I don't think I can top that. That was really awesome. Wow. All right. So I am Caleb Hammermeister. I am the younger brother to the bride, middle child as well. So in the past 15 years, our house, in the house we grew up as children and teenagers, has had some pretty awesome memories. The thought of one day moving out of our house kills me. But what kills me even more is the fact that the thing you come home to, the person you come home to, is leaving you. That's what kills you even more. So Anna, it's not going to be the same without you. Saying that I just get used to the fact and being completely oblivious that you're leaving forever is an understatement. Growing up with you, I learned many things that have helped me shape who I am today. The encouragement to tackle life and prove that you can be a strong asset to society is a lesson you've taught me, which I value most. That lesson has gotten me through high school. It's gotten me to the job I'm at today, a high position in a McDonald's franchise, which I absolutely love, by the way, McDonald's. Yeah. And most importantly, a love and a fear for the things of God. She's always been there whenever I had questions or even to pray together. That was always very special to me. I always remember that. I do not know what time will hold for us as siblings in the future, but I know that the strong bond we have as brother and sister will never end. And that lesson of a never-ending love is what I have seen in the relationship between you and your new love, Chris. I've always respected you, loved you, and wanted the best for you, and today you have achieved the highest respect, love, and best of all, the best gift ever is Chris. And I'm sure you already know that all well. Just always know that even though you still have Chris to talk to and rest all your worries and concerns on, I'll always be a phone call, text, or even a 12-hour drive away. I'll always be up for a spontaneous event like a 5K color run, late-night root beer floats, and late-night drives just to talk about life whenever you want. Once again, Anna, I'm really going to miss you. For Chris, like I said just moments ago, growing up with Anna, I've always wanted the best for her. From the moment I met you, I knew that you would be her happy ending to a whole new beginning. I knew that for sure God gave you to her to fill every single hole in her life where she feels empty. I've enjoyed these past few months getting to know you, become close friends with you, and eventually share the same trust, love, and respect that you have with Anna. So I wish you guys the best in life and anything God gives to you in the future, especially with a full new year ahead, maybe the best one you've ever had, together with God as your protection. God bless Anna and Chris. I love you both with all my heart. Thank you, guys.
So next we're going to have the best man, Stephen de Govea. Come on up. I loosen them up for you a bit here so they're not such a tough crowd. So.
Well, good evening, everyone. All right, that's enough. All right, well, my name's Stephen de Govea. I'm the best man. So, as a best man, everyone's expecting me to roast Chris. But I think Brother Eric gave the best roast he could possibly give for Chris. There's nothing there. Chris is, yeah, I'll do my best, but for a best man, it was really easy, like, to be a best man for this guy. He's like a mother to this guy's back at home. Like, if someone forgets something, he knows. He probably already has it in his car. He's packing it already for you. So many times you don't expect you don't expect it, but Chris is there with it for you. And for Chris, sorry, I'm gonna be a little choppy at first. I'm a little nervous, but I'll get rolling. I'll do my best for roasting. There's a few things. One thing with Chris is he's a pretty quirky guy. Probably one of the quirkiest, one of the nerdiest guys I've ever met. It might be why we got along so well. Right off the bat. Actually, right off the bat, I didn't like him. When you first meet Chris, when he first came and started hanging out with us at Living Word, Chris is a competitive guy. Right off the bat, he was looking for the fastest guy that he could race. He was looking for the best guy at Halo he could play. And usually he won. And every time Chris would win, he would cap off a win with his famous Chris Little victory dance. You want to give us a sample? Yeah, and that was the hardest thing to take from Chris. Because he's constantly with that dance, every time. Usually every time you're with him, he's beating someone at something. But he's probably one of the nicest guys, one of the biggest hearts that I've ever met. There's so many different instances where he's always the one caring for the guy left out. If there's someone new at church, he's the first one going up to them and shaking their hand and introducing himself. And we're kind of around the corner being like, is he good, Chris? Should we hang out with him? Or no, okay. He's giving us a little no or yes. But usually it was yes, because that's how big of a heart he has. We avoid a few of them, but... One thing with Chris is, whoever hangs out with Chris, your life is always bettered. Chris has many tips to how to be successful like Chris. I wrote a few of them down. I hope you don't mind if I just go over a few. These are just random life tips from Chris. The first one that you learn from Chris, of course, which I've kind of covered, is you're only having fun if you're winning. So yeah, this is typical Chris. He's going to be having the best time if he's winning. He still has good times, but I think since Eddie's been around, he hasn't had the best of times, but no, but that's the first one. Next one's a little weird. We learned this the hard way, like in utter disgust, at Sun Lakes. Oreos dipped in chocolate pudding with a glass of chocolate milk is considered a meal for Chris. This is something we still don't swallow. Like, we stay away from that. That was surprising and disgusting. And he still does that. So Anna, no Oreos or chocolate pudding at the same time. It's terrible for him. I think that's when he started losing his gains the most, when he started doing that quite often. I don't think you do that much anymore, or for the last 6 months. Cheap. Yeah, right, accountant. So the third one, yeah, sorry, Hammermeister family for saying this, but this is one of Chris's tips that he's told every single guy is, it's easy to talk to a girl if you treat her like trash. Easier. I don't think he ever did that to Anna. I think he was just trolling us. That's why we're all still single. But we believe him. We believe everything he says. So, the next one is something that I guess he's kind of proving tonight. LinkedIn is a viable courting platform. I don't know if everyone knows this, but when these two first started talking, they were sending each other essays over LinkedIn. LinkedIn, their business profiles are on there. Yeah, no one's tried that yet, I don't think. But, I don't know, maybe. Caleb, Ethan? The next one that Chris taught us is selfies aren't vain. We all thought selfies are just the most vain thing you could possibly do. And then Chris came along, and we have a little group chat on WhatsApp. And almost like every second day, we'd be getting a selfie from Chris. It's just a bunch of guys, and he's sending us selfies of what he's doing. Yeah, we learned, and now everyone's posting selfies. Joe's twice a day now. It's constant. They're pretty good, though. Right. But Chris, I hope you don't stop the selfies, okay? Just because you're married, you still need those. By yourselves, though. And I guess another thing you proved to us today was long-distance relationships actually work. Yeah, look at those two. Like, long distance, that's a problem. For a best man, and for all his friends in BC, with a long-distance relationship, you don't really get to know the partner. Like, I think the most I've gotten to know Anna is in the last 3 days. And she's been running us, like, every single day. I'm telling you, we spent hours going from, like, church to here to, I don't know, like, it was everywhere. Her house, and then back, pick this up, pick that up. Does this song work? No, don't worry, I don't care what you think. All that sort of stuff. Like, it's, like, she knows, they both know. You don't give them, like, your thought, they know. You can try and give them a little, like, oh, yeah, that's pretty good, but then they're just like, no, it's fine. Or they won't say anything, you'll just come to the reception, and it'll be exactly how they wanted it. Nothing changed. But that's all right. They have some good styles. Last one I'll say is, yeah, this is the last one we found out from Chris. Well, actually, we didn't find this out last, but it's just the last one I wrote down. If you're going to drink chocolate milk, you better drink it straight from the carton. And that kind of runs with one of the first ones with the chocolate pudding. Like, this guy likes his chocolate. So one way to get to his heart, for real, is chocolate. Like, people say that, but it's true with Chris. Yeah, but Chris, he's funny, he's charming, he's sweet, he's a good guy, he has muscles. Like, I understand Anna. Like, he's everything right there. But he's one of the more self-confident guys I've seen, and I think. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Like, look at him. Like, his chest is still out. He can't put that away. I don't know if he's proud of Anna or proud of himself for getting Anna. No, how could he not be proud of you, Anna? You look amazing today. So let's see. I had a speech, I had it written out word for word, and while I was sitting there, I was like, forget it. I'm just going to think about stuff. That's why it started a little choppy. It's probably going to get a little choppy right now. But, yeah, one thing about Chris is a very smart, bright guy. And board games is something he got all of us guys into a couple years ago. Yeah, I thought board games were stupid, but he started playing board games with us, and for a time, that was the only way you could hang out with Chris, is if you played board games. So we're like, all right, we love Chris, so we better play board games with Chris. Chris is smart, but we realized Chris is pretty manipulative. I'll give you a little background story for that. And he's smart. I'm going to keep saying that, but he is smart. So with these board games, we started playing, when we first started, we started playing board games probably every 2 months maybe. Like, we're playing, and this is not just like Monopoly, this is like an intense board game. This is like 6 to 10 hour board game. So we'd have to like sacrifice a whole Saturday for it, and we played all day. So that probably is gonna happen still. With your permission, Anna. Please. We still wanna hang out with Chris. But Chris would beat us pretty hard, often. I would say there's probably like 8 to 12 guys playing these games with him. And he'd win 60% of all the games. Maybe that's a little low, maybe like 80%. He'd probably be winning 80% of the games. And it drove people nuts. Like Joe changed his whole lifestyle because of that. Everything that he does with Chris, his goal is to take down Chris. And that started to become everyone's like duty, is make sure Chris does not win this game. So things got harder for Chris, but the results stayed the same every time. Chris still kept winning, drove us nuts. So I think what this kind of leads to is, kind of sum it up, is we played a game, probably our last one lately that we played was about 2 months ago. And it was a long one. There's like 13 guys all playing this game together. And Chris loved this game. This is gonna kind of like tie into his nerdy, quirky, geeky personality, but when we were done in the game, he loved it so much. He went on to this, what's the blog called, Chris? BoardGameGeek.com. And he posted a 3,500 word write-up on this game, just the game that we played. He had names for everyone. He took quotes from movies for different things that happened in the game. And then one thing stuck out to me. No one was his ally in this game, let me remind you. No one was. Everyone wanted to take down Chris. And so this quote near to the bottom was, "I too had many allies. They just didn't realize it." So the whole time, he had everyone just doing what he wanted to do. And of course, 13 other guys playing, and Chris still wins. Still wins. Every time, Chris. Yeah, so... But yeah, that's the best I can say about Chris. The guy is just an awesome guy. Like, you got a good one, Anna. Probably one of the best, definitely. I've always appreciated how strong Chris is. Like, through the ages, we've gone through a lot. As friends, as a church, as just everything in life. We've gone through a lot, especially in the last couple of years. And Chris's standards have only gotten stronger throughout that. And the bar has only been raised higher by Chris. And this is a testament to his character and his nature. He doesn't slow down, he doesn't get weaker, he only gets stronger. I think Brother Ed, your daughter's in really good hands. He's gonna look after her, and he's gonna be a pillar, that's for sure. If anyone will be, he will be. And I've always very much admired that about him. I'll never forget, Chris, all the great talks we've had. Sun Lakes, laying out on the dock at like 4 in the morning. Just me and you chatting, everyone snoring around us in their sleeping bag on the dock. Those are times that I'll never forget. Good times. Times of encouragement, constantly. You've always been a real encouragement to me. Keeping me going. When I wasn't sure what to do, you'd always have a good word to say, some good wisdom. And I thank you for that. I wouldn't be the same without you. Now what? I'm gonna cry. Soaking up here anyhow. You've always been, you're a pillar for the young people back home. When we found out Chris was engaged or dating or courting this girl from Edmonton, we were pretty upset. We're like, hey, if anything happens, you need to make a promise to us that you're staying here. You're bringing her here, or else we're ending this. And he had to promise, and it wasn't that much of a promise, but we finally got it out of him. I think after he was engaged, then we really went hard on him. But yeah, we got it out of him, so we're going to be welcoming Anna to the family back there. All the guys will be, at least. Yeah, you might have a packed household once in a while. A couple months in between. You've been a solid pillar for all the young people. You've been an inspiration to everyone, especially the Sleepover Bandits, which I'll give you a little background behind that. Sleepover Bandits, you can probably guess, that's a name Chris gave to a bunch of us guys. They're pretty close-knit. You see 2 of them up here. Yeah, so we had a few of us guys that have been together for probably like 5 or 6 years, pretty close. And of course we have, I don't know, like in BC, everyone uses WhatsApp. We have a youth WhatsApp, we have guys group WhatsApp, we have so many WhatsApp groups, and it actually works. But we had this one like pretty close-knit WhatsApp group, and we could not figure out a name. We're like, hey, we already have a guys WhatsApp group, we have this WhatsApp group, like, what can we call this? And then we're throwing things around, and then Chris goes, what about Sleepover Bandits? We're like, oh, yeah, that works. So it's been that for like, I don't know, 3 years maybe? 2 or 3 years. Yeah, so you're the heart of that. So you don't have to leave that. We'll give you a little leeway. Just because you're married, you can still stay in that. Yeah. But as I was saying with Anna, we didn't really get to know her that well, but you almost didn't have to with the joy you would bring to Chris and the obsession you'd bring to Chris. We'd want to hang out with Chris and we'd be like, man, it's like 3 hours late. Where is he? We're kind of worried about him. All we had to do was open the front door and we'd see his car just on the road and he's just like this, like 2 more minutes. And we're like, oh my goodness. Every time. That was quite often. But he made sure that we liked you. Just the way he talked about you, the way he obsessed about you. Yeah, just courageous, loyal and caring. Like, you've definitely got my friend, and that's all right. You're spending the last 3 days with you. I think you got her okay, for sure. Most definitely. And he's found his match in you, and I'd say you're his better half. Probably, yeah, I'd say that. You're his better half, and you make him look stunning tonight, all because of you. You're beautiful, and keep making him look more beautiful. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
You said you're a man of few words. Wow, it's pretty good. So next we have the maid of honor going to come up. She's single. She asked me to say that. She asked me that 3 times. So we're going to have her come up and say a few words.
I'm definitely gonna cry, but I'm good. I'll just, okay. So a little introduction. How's that? Is that better? Okay. My name's Michaela. I've known Anna for 15 years. We met on the first day of kindergarten and have been extremely close since. I am so honored to be given the opportunity to speak today about what a wonderful friend and sister Anna has been to me over the last 15 years. Anna and I may have gotten the same mark on every exam for 12 years of grade school, but I knew that we were going to take very different paths once we had graduated. What I didn't anticipate was getting to speak at her wedding only 3 years later. Trying to quantify my friendship with Anna is almost impossible. This girl has single-handedly been there for me through many bad days and breakups and supported me through all my endeavors. I can't see, 1 second. Anna has been right there through the good and the bad with a hug and a lemon poppy seed loaf. If Anna has taught me one thing, it's that a good friend and some loaf can get you through anything. I've also seen Anna grow from learning the rules of safety city in kindergarten to learning the rules of the actual road in high school. I've seen Anna pump out millions of cakes on Cake Mania at 13 years old, only to completely shock our high school by actually making hundreds of cupcakes for Cupcake Fest in grade 12. I can tell you people were amazed by Anna's landslide win, but nothing could have been more predictable to me. So I guess for you, Anna, the takeaway that I'm trying to say is thank you. Thank you for the hugs and the talks, the friendly competition and the memories, and thank you, Chris. When Anna told me about your first visit and brought out a 4-page document breaking down your visit hour by hour, the schedule she had planned for you, every restaurant you would eat at, every introduction she was going to make, I knew you were someone special. This document was very telling to me, and I'm sure even more telling to you. This kind of planning is exactly what you will have to get used to. But from what I've seen and what I've heard, there's a lot of balance here. Chris is exactly what Anna needs. Today on the bus, Steve turned to Chris, and they were talking about returning their suits. And Chris is like, yeah, but you got to make sure you return the cufflinks. And Steve is like, cufflinks, hey? Okay. And Chris is like, oh no, I probably folded them in a little baggie and just put them in the bag. So that's exactly what Anna would have said to me. Every how to write a maid of honor toast Google search tells you to offer up some advice for the future. Chris, Anna will tell you exactly what she wants. She's usually extremely clear. As long as you're listening, and I can see you do, you've got this covered. I've been absolutely blessed to have been a part of this beautiful day, so thank you both. I look forward to the many times I'll visit you in BC, and I thank you in advance for your hospitality, unexpected or not. I'm so proud of the wonderful woman Anna has become, and I could not imagine a better guy to be sitting next to her tonight. God bless you both in your future together. And I haven't seen this, can we toast actually though? Thank you.
Thank you, Michaela. Did I mention she's single? And she wants to study law. I said, I was phoned up a lawyer. I said, I need you to help me with the sale of my house. He said, you don't want me? I'm a criminal lawyer. I says, well, aren't they all? So next we're going to have Tim and Candace come up. They got a few words for the bride and groom.
Good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me all right? Okay. I wanted to start off by thanking Chris and Anna for allowing me to be a part of their special day. And even though I don't know half of you, half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you, half as well as you deserve. However, my name is Candace. I'm Chris's younger sister, and I also have the pleasure of being Anna's friend.
Hello, I am Tim Gilmeister. I'm the younger brother of Chris. But let's be honest, we all know I'm the better brother.
Anna, you look absolutely stunning today. Chris, those grooming classes, they really paid off. Proud of you. But what strikes me the most as I look at both of you now is the complete, unfiltered, pure happiness and love that shines so brightly between you. Chris and Anna have been a strong influence in both of our lives, and we want to share some moments that we will cherish together with all of you here tonight. I'm a little nervous. Okay. I'm so blessed to have Anna as a true friend. We have experienced so many memories together. One of my favorites was our family trip to Birch Bay in the summer, where we had paddleboard wars and kayaked on the ocean. As a Gilmeister, everything revolves around food, and Anna had no problem keeping us all festively plump with her bakings galore, cinnamon buns, cheesecake, cookies, and so much more. She's one of the most thoughtful people I know. She is someone you can confide in. She always listens with a big heart and offers kind advice. She's always the first person to ensure that everyone is happy and included. She fits into our family so perfectly. She accepts us for our family quirks and is happily laughing and crying tears of joy as we tell some pretty funny stories. Unfortunately, I would need all night to go into full detail. Let's just say when our family's together, it's never a dull moment or a quiet one. We have also enjoyed many BBC nights together with Chris, singing in the car. No volume control is used at all. Shopping trips in the city, and so many more. I could go on. Every moment spent with Anna is deeply cherished in my heart, and I'll never forget any of the moments, and I'm so happy for the ones to come. Oftentimes, when Anna or myself would come visit, it ended with us sharing a bed, which resulted in late-night giggles, and of course, most enjoyably, Anna sleep-talking in the middle of the night, and the occasional kicking. I could not have imagined a better wife for you, Chris. Anna completes you in every way. You picked the best girl not only for you, but also for me. And I'm so blessed that you are joining our family, even though you were a part of us the moment we met you. But this is the official process, because just like grade 1, there's always more paperwork than expected.
So it's my turn to speak about Anna, and I mean, she's all right. But honestly, no, she's a really, really awesome girlfriend for Chris. And probably the only one for Chris. But it has gone quite quiet in the rec room as the Skype dates have sadly disappeared. And I'm looking forward for those board game parties at your house. Wink, wink. But now it's roasting time. Growing up with two brothers and me being the youngest, there was always shenanigans occurring around the house. If there was any science experiments, I was their guinea pig. As I recall, the wise Chris told me to chew the swallowable vitamin C's. And it ended with me throwing up in the toilet and him jotting down notes about the dreadful taste. But in the end, it helped me not to trust him, ever. But but in the end, the amount of positive memories I have of Chris are far too many to discuss. Even though I was the youngest of the bunch, Chris always sought out to include me with his friends, no matter what they were doing. Their annual trip to Sun Lakes, their plentiful amount of LAN parties that they would host, and more recently, Chris's bachelor party. But we don't want to go into much detail. There's some dramatic and scarring events that partook that evening. But moving on, even though all the wrongs you have done to me, I know, deep inside, I still love you, brah. But many fond moments I have with Chris take place on the battlefield of board games, as it's either the Vietnam War or the battlefield of justice in the arena of L5R. One victorious moment that I have with Candace, and it still haunts Chris to this day, was one particular night as we were playing Power Grid. Chris was feeling giddy and overconfident as he felt he had wiped the competition. To quote Tolkien, even the very wise cannot see all ends, as Chris soon realized his foolishness caused his demise, as Candace came in with a swift, clean kill, leaving Chris admitting defeat and left crying in the corner as he finished a dead last. But to conclude, Chris will always be the board game master, and I will always remember the competitive spirit Chris and I share to this day. And I wish you good luck, Anna, as you replace me on the battlefront. And Anna, may you claim victory in your great battles to come, or at least make him suffer in the doghouse.
I've been incredibly blessed to have close friendships with all my brothers. We are more than just siblings to each other. I'll always remember when we were kids, growing up in a large family, it meant you never had any personal space or quiet time. But it also meant you were never alone. And you always had someone with you to play or talk with. Life with Chris is always a fun adventure. There are so many memories, inside jokes, random quotes that can crack us up both laughing in an instant. In the last few years, compared to me, Chris has always been the sensible and wise older one. He is my financial advisor. Well, he's my advisor for everything, essentially. The person I always went to when discussing life choices, hard things, sharing funny stories from the day. We'd always talk in the car whenever we drove to or from places. It often started off with us singing very loudly and very poorly, I might add, but there's always some skilled hand actions involved. I'm sure all of you are all aware that Chris has the voice of an angel. Often we would make spontaneous trips to the lake, ice cream or milkshakes on the way home. Chris, you know which one I'm referring to. We usually are pretty good at reading each other's thoughts and are very quick to banter off some sarcastic wit and jokes. He usually is the only one who gets them. Chris and Anna were very thoughtful in how they included me in their dating years. They wanted both sides of the families to be a part of their life. And because of that, not only was my friendship with Chris strengthened, but it was also changed for the better due to the effects of Anna's influence. And them falling in love, of course. Many of you know, or some of you might not, but I have a deep love and appreciation for Jane Austen, and it wouldn't be me without a reference to her works. For I am determined that only the deepest love will induce me to matrimony, so I shall end an old maid and teach your 10 children to embroider cushions and play their instruments very poorly. Emphasis on the 10 children. Both him and Anna have been the biggest support to me, with different goals and aspirations that I have for myself. They have encouraged me in ways I cannot express, and I have spiritually and emotionally grown up due to their influence and the standard they upheld. Chris has always been the strong one in our family, always there to talk to us about things of the Lord and just making sure that we understand, and he was always there to pray for us, that sort of thing. I thank you both for that, and I love you so much. We want to both officially welcome you into our family, Anna. We are so incredibly excited for you to move to BC and make more memories. Tim and I have prepared something special for Chris as we say our last goodbyes to him, as we have known him through these 23 years. We are ending this chapter of our lives with single Chris, and now look forward to the promising future with both of you.
To end this magnificent speech, we quote an excerpt from a wise man. It's a dangerous business, Chris and Anna, going out your door. You step onto the road, and if you don't keep your feet, there's no knowing where you might be swept off to. And before we do our song, only Chris has been blessed with the voice of an angel. So we're going to be pretty bad, but prepare. I saw the light fade from the sky. On the wind I heard a sigh. As the snowflakes cover my fallen brothers, I will say this last goodbye. Night is now falling, so ends this day. The road is now calling, and I must away over hill and under tree, through lands where never a light has shone, by silver streams that run down to the sea. Under cloud, beneath the stars, over snow one winter's morn, I turn at last to paths that lead home. And though where the road then takes me, I cannot tell. We came all this way, but now comes the day to bid you farewell. Many places I have been, many sorrows I have seen, but I don't regret, nor will I forget all who took that road with me. Night is now falling, so ends this day. The road is now calling, and I must away over hill and under tree, through lands where never a light has shone, by silver streams that run down to the sea. To these memories I will hold, with your blessing I will go, to turn at last to paths that lead home. And though where the road then takes me, I cannot tell. We came all this way, but now comes the day to bid you farewell. bid you all a very fond farewell.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was great. So next we're going to have Toast to the Groom, and that's going to be done by Colin DeHaan. You want to come on up here?
All right, last speech. Woo! Okay, Anna, you look beautiful tonight. I have to say, Chris, those muscles, that hair, it's gonna go. Accountant life. All right, so I am Chris's neighbor. From about when we were about 12 years old, I've known Chris, and we grew up playing hockey on the streets. Didn't really want to hang out with Chris when I first met him, but he always took my Naslund. We always wanted to be Naslund because we both loved him so much. So he deceived me, and he said, "Why don't we just both be Naslund? One of us be Naslund A, one of us be Naslund B." But then Chris took Naslund A, so we argued about that. But then again, it was us versus the whole neighborhood. But you know what, Chris? I got to keep this short and sweet, and I'm gonna cry. But sometimes I wish that we could go back to when we were young. During the summer, you'd be cooking all your parents' bacon for us, making Tim say please just for a sandwich. And if he didn't say please, he'd be running at us with belts, whatever he got. Or the nights where we would sit on the phone for an hour and a half and then realize that we're only 2 minutes away. So let's go hang out. You know what, Chris? I watched you turn into a man. And not just a man, you turned into a godly man. That was incredible. You always were an amazing friend to me. Always. And you always will be. I held you high up, my friend. You're my best friend, Chris. And I'm so thankful that you found a girl that can handle you, to be honest. And who has the same name as you, Hammermeister and Gilmeister, like the chances. Chris, I love you. You're my brother, you're my friend, you always will be my friend. You're gonna be a great husband, and I had as a lucky man. I love you both.
Thank you, Colin. Very nice. 19, huh? Naslund. Well, got one more story for you. If I can find it. Here it is. Doesn't pay to get too smart with your wife, I'll tell you. When her lawnmower was broken and wouldn't run, my wife kept hinting to me that I should get it fixed. Somehow I always had something else to take care of first, the car, the truck, the fishing, always something more important to me. Finally, she thought of a clever way to make her point. When I arrived home one day, I found her seated in the tall grass, busily snipping away with a pair of sewing scissors. I watched silently for a short time and then went into the house. I was only gone a few minutes when I came out again and handed her a toothbrush. When you finished cutting the grass, I said, you might as well sweep the driveway. The doctor said I'll walk again, but I'll always have a limp. Call Anna and Chris to come on up here. It's their turn to speak to you guys, so come on up.
Good evening, everyone. Just want to say our thank yous for all the time that you've come and spent with us now, and just to wrap up the reception to a close now, and just to express our hearts to you, just the gratitude for everyone coming out and sharing this moment with us. We've enjoyed it ourselves immensely, and glad that every one of you could come out with us.
So I guess I'll start. I just want to say we really have a lot to be thankful for. So I'll kind of do my side and Chris will do his side. A huge thank you to my parents for providing us with the wonderful evening we had tonight. But really, my thanks goes far beyond that. Thank you for raising me to be the person that I am today, for supporting me both when I succeeded and when I failed. To my dad for working tirelessly to provide for us and striving to be a Christ-like example for us. To my mom, who also worked tirelessly, but to be there for me emotionally and to teach me what it's like to be a good wife, I hope. I will miss all the times after school when we cooked dinner together and all our shopping dates. Thankfully, Chris is both a good cook and a patient shopping partner. You have helped me endlessly with this wedding. You've been the smile through the stress, and I really couldn't have done it without you. As much as everybody says I organized the whole thing, I really do need help. Make sure you come and visit me lots. We have the room. To my grandparents, my grandma has been my kindred spirit since forever. A kindred spirit's like a best friend, but it's more. It's someone that inspires you to be a better person. Someone to carry you forever, that no matter what happens, you'll always love them, and nothing could ever change that. Thank you for all your support, in literally every way imaginable. My grandpa has been a constant, quiet source of love to me. I'll never forget all the bus rides or times you let me kick you out of your bed so that I could have a sleepover with Grandma. You showed me how a man should treat me, and that's so special. Since I was small, I was always so close to you both. You'll always be my second set of parents. To my Oma Hammermeister, I can always count on your prayers. And since I was small, I'll always have fond memories of you, whether it be you making wonton soup or picking raspberries. Thank you for being so special. Ethan, I loved watching you grow up, and you'll always be my little boy. I love you. Caleb, you always seem to find a reason to smile, so don't ever lose that. I remember Oma telling me a story, and I actually have something to give you. In the lovely video you all saw of me doing my dance and all that kind of thing. Caleb was actually carrying a stuffy, which I once said that when I moved away and got married, I would take away from him. But I'm not taking it away from you. So this is Crystal.
Yeah. I was wondering if you wanted to replicate that whole scene we just seen.
Yeah.
I got it back.
So I won't take Crystal. I have many other close family members, my Oma and Opa Wild, my Aunt Ruth and Uncle Ed. You're all so dear to me. Remember, you're never too old to come visit me. So for my third set of parents, Chris will start.
Yeah. So there's many people to thank, and just starting with my family, I just wanted to say a quick thank you to my parents for all the hard work and effort that they put in to raise me, and the different perspectives from being a super unwieldy and stubborn child to being an easygoing one. I hope it wasn't too hard on you guys, and just many fond memories with each, and I'm very thankful for the Lord for providing me as you as my parents and just putting me in your home and just leading and guiding me under your parentingship. Just want to have just a small memory with each. With my dad, I still remember I was about 12 and Ben had gone away to sleepover, and just I was having a really hard time, and I was really close to Ben, and then it was just I wanted to go with him, but I couldn't. But then my dad came home early from work and took me night skiing because I've been crying. So just a very fond memory, and I still remember today, just something that you've done in carelessness. So, and I also want to thank my mom too for just always the hard work and energy put in everything, just a real kindred spirit, and just always sharing memories and lots of late night talks and just pouring our hearts out to each other. Just a lot of fun memories, and don't worry, I'm only 10 minutes away, so it's not going to end. Just also want to thank to each one of my family members, Ben, Candace, Shalom, Tim. Each one of you have been very special to me, and just want to thank you. And I have lots of things I could say, but just to keep the night short. I also want to thank my Nana for coming all the way from New Zealand and sharing with them. You're staying for a couple months, and I look forward to spending that time with my new lovely bride, so and getting to know you better as well. And just to all my other family that couldn't be here, just appreciative for the impact that you've had in my life. And just want to close with a thank you to my family too there.
So to our bridal party, Mikhail, you've been just like such a solid friend, and I couldn't think of anyone else to be my maid of honor today. We literally grew up together, and I'm so grateful for the support and love you shared leading up to this day. Thank you, Candace, for all your hard work, even being miles away. The lovely engagement party you threw Chris and I, it was so much fun, and I wish we could do it all over again. Much like I want to do this all over again, but I can't. So thank you, Brittany, for the Sunday wedding planning dates and all the good laughs. You were a constant source of happiness and excitement during this time. And thank you to Lydia for being so sweet and enthusiastic. I think everyone would agree that she was the best looking girl here.
So to my bridal party, to Steve, thank you very much for being there for a friend and being another brother in Christ, just someone that we can grow together. And just as we were in our teens and adolescence, we've just been a solid rock, and just, not a solid rock, sir, but we've grown in just leading on the guiding the word and just continually to develop that, and just in non-spiritual things, just being a very good friend and just a very kindred soul as well. Like you said, we're both kind of weird, but we somehow gravitated towards one another. To Colin, my oldest friend, just, it's been a blast, and like, yeah, it's been a great time, and I have lots of memories to cherish. And like we've said, from the very beginning, we said we'd always be in each other's weddings, so here you are. To Joe as well, like I said, you're my bandit or my partner in crime when it comes to classical, but your jokes and your laugh and just all your comments always bring a smile. And like I said, though, I have many close friends, and I don't want to exclude them, but they know who they are, and just try and have a close knit of friends. So I'm thankful for my bridal party and everyone else as well. And to Elliot, thank you for coming up from Arkansas. You were very good, and you were very well to work with, and you were just a strong, like you were so smart and funny. It was a good time. And so thank you to my bridal party. So to continue on, there's so many people we would like to thank, and this wedding isn't done on just us or even our direct family. And while we can't thank everyone, we have a little slideshow just to quickly go through and thank some of the people that have been a very big help to us.
And this is the last
slideshow. And then we're done.
I just wanted to say it was a privilege to be the MC here today and to have been able to work with two such godly young people. Just a reminder, example to all of us that God's word is true, and we have witnessed it here today. I'd like to read Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. May God bless them. Thank you very much.
When I found you, I found somebody who cares. When I found you, found my most intimate prayer. When I found you, I found what every heart dreams of. When I found you, I found love. When I found you, found one more reason to smile.